Aloha Captains, welcome to another episode of Unlocking Ocean's Economy with Captain Londy Ngcobo, where we dive deep into the vast opportunities in ocean's economy and dive even deeper in the challenges that the maritime world faces. With me today, I have a close sister in the ocean's economy, a friend and a nurturer of notes. But before I introduce my guest, I want to remind you that in this episode, we will be unpacking a very, very impactful conversations around networking. I think that it's so important that we understand the role that we all have in ensuring that we have compelling conversations and take opportunities that we have to connect seriously. Grab your life jackets, brace yourself as we dive deep into this uncharted horizon. I want to take this opportunity to thank my industry network. I want to thank my global peers within my industry for challenging me to do and bring this platform about. And I just want to kindly ask that you like, share, and subscribe so we can keep the ship afloat. Aloha, Captain. Welcome on board Unlocking Ocean's Economy with Captain Londy. I found myself leaving my corporate sit and starting a company in 2020, hard lockdown. And I remember very well being so uncertain. I had a glimpse of confidence, but I was very uncertain about who to now call, how to then market myself, how to show up. And that phone call that changed my life in saying, remember your why, came through this friend that I've brought here today. And I just cannot wait to unpack a conversation with her. She comes from UNtold. Her name is Gomes.
Hey, Londy.
Hello, my friend.
Nice to sit on a chair with you and chat.
Thanks for being here, Claire. I'm doing this for the first time. And you know, it's been called for so many times that I bring a platform because of the network that I've created, of the social media cults that I've created. This, ladies and gentlemen, is our proud sponsor, UNtold. Why have you trusted me? Why have you trusted this cause?
Londy, I think it has a lot to do with your heart and your voice, but mostly your heart, because everything you do, you bring a degree of passion and intent. That means the chance of it being successful and impactful is multiplied. And so we love working with you because we also believe that maritime awareness is an area that collectively the industry has to do more work in. And we also support women leaders who have the courage to stand up and speak their experience and their story and bring themselves to the conversation in a way that's credible. And so we thank you for the opportunity. And we, as always, can't wait to see what you do with this and what you do next.
Don't get me emotional on my own show, okay? But thank you for that. I love that you mentioned we can never have enough maritime awareness. And unfortunately, grown-ups like us know the challenges that we have. We understand the challenges that we have. But I love that you highlight that we can't make the industry, we can't close our eyes to more awareness needed out there to the world.
And it's a very exciting time, actually, because all of the barriers that we have experienced around the South African seafarer are slowly lifting. The South African seafarer is back in demand. And all of the incredible talent pipeline projects that were launched in our industry, you'll remember many of them, are slowly unlocking. And so the fact that you are using this time to have this voice around these issues is quite exciting because I see great growth potential being realized in the next 5 years.
I was in the Philippines last year, and I remember at first I didn't understand what they mean about the industry and seafarers being back on demand, and just seeing the conversations there, and I realized actually we've got quite gold. With South African seafarers, and I just truly appreciate that while we were worried and hungry for more placements, you played your role as UNtold. In your smallest capacity, in what you could, you were like, we're here. go out, go fish, but we're here. And so we're thankful for that. But Claire, I want everyone to know, I'm sharing you with the world today. I am sharing you with the world. Tell them who Claire is.
I think as I've come to know myself and kind of got older, as we all do, I think I'm an eternal optimist. I think I've come to my career, but also to my life as someone who sees the glass as half full.
Wow.
And that's really served me very well over the years.
And I suppose with that, like you're mentioning, over the years, you would have also identified your anchors. With many things that are happening, you are part of the 2% of female participation. You are part of the female leaders that are very scarce within oceans economy. What anchors you?
Well, apart from my family and my passion for this industry, because it is so special, I definitely think that my mentors over the years have helped me to anchor myself. And there have been many men and women who have taken the time to help me on my way. Some I've liked, and some maybe have pushed me to do things I never thought I would do and got me out of my comfort zone. But even that uncertainty has kind of anchored me, because I have come, after 24 years in the industry, I've come to a place where I realize that together, whether that's as colleagues or as industry, there are no problems too big for us to solve.
Absolutely. I want to go back to uncertainty also anchors me. And that's very beautiful to unpack, because we're all trying to sound and feel and want to seem like we know it. We've got it figured. Uncertainty does anchor one, because it forces you to question. And it forces you to listen to the dissatisfactions. And with the listening of dissatisfactions, that's when you find often the sweet spot or problems to solve. So I just love that so much. So Claire, please tell me, AMSOL. Yes. Which markets, which sectors do you guys play in? I know, but I want everyone else to know where you come from.
We're a specialist marine services provider. We do a lot of very niche services in high-risk environments using 19 different vessels that are active across the region.
19 different vessels that are active across the region.
And we are absolutely thrilled that we've been able to move into West Africa and have a foothold now in Ghana. And
wait, when did this happen?
In the last 3 years. We've actually just added an additional client to our portfolio. We have a fabulous partner, and we get an opportunity to develop a local talent pipeline together with other stakeholders and continue the model that we have here in South Africa and also in Namibia and Mozambique. And I think AMSOL's story is one of those South African business success stories, because we, in 2016, employees and management worked together to buy the company back from foreign owners, and it is now wholly South African owned, with 12% held by employees. So we feel it's a major player. Our purpose is to empower people through sustainable solutions, and I think you'll see that filtering into how we work in the industry as well.
For those who don't know, fully South African owned maritime company. Link that. Link the services, link what they stand for with your passion. And I promise you, this is quite a gem of a company, because for some reason you guys have stuck around, but there's that aura within AMSOL that feels more like home. And I also want to, maybe because I know you, and when I imagine AMSOL, I think of you because I know you most within the company. It feels like home. But I want to know, as a woman in leadership, who is on board with you? Who is on board with you in your leadership seat, in your life in general? Who's on board with you?
I come back to first and always my family, because they have this wonderful ability to correct me when I am incorrect or when I make mistakes, and I love learning from them. And you'll know how having that grounding presence in your life just helps you be a better person. It's an absolute privilege to watch children grow into adults, and I'm living that now.
Yes.
But I also think having impact is what keeps me going too. And sometimes it's small, And sometimes it's bigger organization-wide when we've introduced a new project or program that is creating more value for our stakeholders. But yeah, I think it's a combination of knowing where I come from, and also my mom had a lot to do with that, and knowing where I want to go to, which is a journey. We always reinventing ourselves and trying to work out what keeps us relevant and our companies relevant, and that's quite a personal process.
Thanks for bringing that. How have you been?
Good.
With the loss of your mom?
It's a process, but I think when you get to a place where you can exhale and remember the beauty and the lessons, then you kind of move as a private person, but also as a professional person, into a place of grace. And that's where we all want to be.
That's where we all want to be. So hard to navigate. So hard to navigate, but it comes to us. It comes to us. I do want to acknowledge that your chairperson sits at Wista. Would that be the reason why you took a step back, or was it your turn up, or?
Yeah, so I think everyone, okay, let me speak for myself. Yes. We all have a season, right?
Yes.
And part of our duty, particularly in organizations, industry organizations, is to pass on that baton. I think if we start to define what's happening in the industry by ourselves only, it can be difficult to navigate into the next phase for an organization. And Wista has been able to move into a new phase of leadership.
Yes.
And globally, the Women's International Shipping and Trading Association, which is a global network, is all about reinvention, constant reinvention, as more women come into our industry and pick up that leadership.
I do want to understand though, Claire, as an individual, we've spoken about Wista, spoken about UMSO, what problem is Claire trying to solve?
It's going to sound quite general, but remaining relevant. And I'm saying that personally, I'm saying that professionally, especially for the purpose of this conversation.
You're the marketing expert after all.
And also for an organization. And I think I learned so much when we launched the National Mentorship Program at Wista. I realized that the key to staying relevant was making yourself available to mentor, because in doing that you learn. Our relevance comes from connection.
Yes.
From being curious, from making ourselves available to the young people or the new entrants in the industry to understand their challenges. And as a result, you kind of learn a lot about yourself.
Yes, actually, that is so true.
Yeah, and I think that there's a misperception that mentorship is one way.
Oh.
And it's certainly not. It's definitely not.
Let me tell you, and I'm glad that we're coming closer to networking and mentorship. I got it a bit twisted because I was a mentor, still am, a mentor to a lot of the youth, hence my foundation, Global Maritime Youth. And I did feel that it was very much one-sided, but it gave me a lot of anxiety because I was expected to have the answers. Meanwhile, I was just figuring things out, especially about the industry, having assumed a role in now business, entrepreneurship. And I just felt, what is this mentorship thing? But I needed mentors myself. More enablers, because I then was in business, enablers as opposed to mentors. I failed to connect and say, oh, but my mentor did this. I failed to find that connection, but I did have a lot of enablers. And so I sit and say, actually, in marriage, I'm able to pick up a phone and call Claire.
Yeah.
In business, my business mentor, my marriage mentor, so I feel that, and then I have business enablers. So I like that you unpack it in that way, and I think that you executed it beautifully with Wista, because I remember I also had a mentee through Wista, but I also felt like, what are the others doing? Because no one's got it figured, So maybe if you can share, what do you think is the right approach to mentorship?
So I've seen two extremes in my time in this industry. I've seen the concept of mentorship where you are available all the time for anything, even on a bad day. And then I've seen the kind of mentorship that I prefer, which is very focused and structured and time-bound.
Okay.
Which says, get people to apply for a formal program of mentorship so that they physically are reading their own words around why they want it.
And show that commitment.
Both mentors and mentees. So we, in Worcester, we actually got mentors and mentees to apply. And then we matched, and we said, this is not a marriage forever. This is a process that you both need to get something from. And we're here to support. And we did it over 10 months. And that I think in that way it is structured and it's formal and it's measurable. So we can measure impact.
You can measure impact.
Which is important.
Because it can easily get very chatty and very draggy. And in the end, you say, I have a mentor. So I like that it has to be measured. Would you say you still have mentors yourself?
Oh, I seek them out constantly. I've just had a new colleague arrive at our company, and I'm so excited because I realize I've got so much to learn from him. He probably doesn't know it yet, but
he probably doesn't.
He will mentor me. Yeah, I think, be curious. Hey, that's what it's about. Be curious about those around you, and you'll find that everyone has something to give you.
What do you think are the key economic values, or what's the economic value in having a professional network?
Firstly, I think on a professional level for individuals, economic benefit is also about you challenging yourself in your career to the next step. So I think professional organizations can definitely help you navigate the next step. There's always a next step. And I've found that, I've experienced that myself, and I've also been worked with young people who have had that benefit as well, as long as they're proactively prepared to work the network. But I think the greater benefit is sharing of ideas.
Sharing of ideas.
And also navigating trends. Because how do we remain relevant, and I come back to that word, in an industry where we're out of touch? And at AMSOL, we really do open the door to our employees to be active in as many organizations and associations as they can. And to be honest, we're spoilt in our industry. There are a lot of professional organizations and non-profit organizations driven by people who have their heart in this industry, who are giving of their time, who can unlock opportunity, can help you see opportunity in a way that you perhaps would have been blind to if you didn't have the benefit of the collective wisdom of those in that organization.
I love that so much.
And I would urge people entering the industry to do research, to find out which network works for them, because I would caution against just joining everything. Work out what is going to be right for you at that moment in your career and for your organization, particularly if you're a small business. You really need the support and the insight of those who've walked that path, and who perhaps understand quite a challenging industry when it comes to barriers of entry a little bit better.
Actually. But do you think that our industry has cultivated that robust professional network? I mean, there's a lot of events that we host. We host a lot of events. We gather a lot, especially after COVID. It was events after events after events. Do you think, though, that we are moving with intention, or is it individually based as opposed to industry? But maybe let's unpack it with industry. Do you see impact in all these networking and professional events that we're hosting?
I suppose it depends on how individuals come to it, right? And I always say, if you come to networking, and you're right, we do have a lot of different organizations who have a lot of things going on. But I think if you want to optimize networks, particularly in our industry, come to those networks with curiosity rather than a hard business intent first. Because it's about personal connection. Okay. So generally, and we know this as human beings, that you do business with other people. People do business with people. That requires trust. Use the networks to establish the trust. Come to it with the intent to be curious about the humans around you, and the economic opportunity will unlock.
Oh my goodness.
But I think you do need to build that a little bit of rapport.
Yeah.
Find that connection. So if I'm going to an industry event with the intent of doing a hard sell, I think my chances of success will be a little bit less than if I go with the intent to connect on a very human level with other people who are probably facing the same challenges
As
I
you
am.
are.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. And you really have carried it beautifully. I think anyone who's met you, if they really truly know you, they would know that you've led that with hearts. I think that we are the ones we've been searching for. And I think that you've unpacked it so beautifully, because I know now that we need each other to drive the economic value that we want to see in oceans economy. Would you say we're the ones we've been searching for?
Absolutely.
Friend, thank you so much for doing this with me, for trusting us to unpack this topic. It was quite challenging to put Claire behind Amsol and Claire as Claire, but Claire is Amsol, and she's through and through a nurturer of nodes. I have a segment where Global Maritime Youth wants to see. I told the youth, I said, industry will be here.
Wonderful.
I'm bringing them to you. They are for you. Ask whatever you want to ask. And so we have Global Maritime Youth member that wants to ask you something.
Pleasure.
I told him she's a mom, she's a nurturer. Just ask. She'll hold your hand.
Hi, Ms. Gomes. My name is Londy. Charlie. I'm doing my third year at Durban University of Technology, doing shipping and logistics. And as shipping and logistics students, I'd like to know which mentorships can help a student like me, and how can those mentorship programs, how can they positively influence a person like me in terms of starting up a business?
I think that's a great question, and it's probably top of mind for lots of young people who are coming to the end of their tertiary studies. The answer isn't always very easy, because I think it's a combination of finding a mentor, but also the right kind of mentor. And what I've always recommended to young people seeking mentorship is to spend some time just writing down what you want to get from that mentorship. Quite specifically, I often enter into a mentoring relationship with someone who's new to the industry, and they come with 1,000 different thoughts about where they want their career to go, which is wonderful. But no human being can do 1,000 things at once. Yeah. So my advice, firstly, when you do get an opportunity for mentorship, even before, is to just write down the few things that you want to get from that relationship. And I think a very useful way to access those mentoring opportunities is to do research on organizations in the industry, and to find out who the people are who are running those non-profit organizations. For example, you'll find that many professionals who've had 10, 20 years in the industry are now working with heart for professional organizations in the industry. And it's those kind of people who give of their time to running associations that promote the interests of the industry, who are probably more likely to enter into mentoring relationships, and probably more likely to be able to help you on those 2, 3, or 4 outcomes that you want, that support your own career journey. So my advice would be, do research on what organizations are active in the industry, especially those that are staffed by volunteers who are working in the industry, and then do some work on what specifically you want to get out of it. I think that helps a mentor make sure that your expectations are met, and also helps them to use the small amount of time they have available, probably in quite a busy schedule, to help you get as much as you can from the relationship. So come to that kind of mentoring situation having done your homework. If you find someone who you think has the connections and the experience that will help you on your journey, connect with them on LinkedIn. Find out which conferences and events their organization's represented at. Go to those. Often they're open to the public. Meet them. Don't be afraid. And trust that they will see in you what they once were, and they will do their best to open the conversation and to help you in your mentorship relationship, and also to help you navigate quite a difficult transition from tertiary studies to the workplace as well.
Well, there you have it, captains. If you ever question what the economic value is in networking and mentoring, Remember, we're the ones we've been searching for, and the ones that you're searching for are around you. We are the ones that we need. I think that it's been so fruitful for me to continue to learn from Claire Gomes, and I just wanted to remind you guys, network with intention, but lead with heart. Thank you once again for trusting us, and once again, AMSOL is our sponsor for this episode. We are so thankful, and we have a token of appreciation that we have for you.
Thank you.
Open it! Open! No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, thank you guys. Thank you so much. I could jump on this seat right now, but I have to maintain composure. I kindly ask you to keep this ship afloat. Like, share, and subscribe. Do anything that you can to make sure that people know about this so that they can continue to feed off the captains of industry that I've brought on board for you.